सर हमारे डीजी साहब की एक और मीटिंग आ गई है, तो इस वजह से वो नहीं आ पाए। तो इंट्रोडक्टरी रिमार्क्स बख्तियार साहब देंगे और फिर हम स्टार्ट करते हैं अपना वेबिनार।
सर बेसिकली तौर पे ये जो वेबिनार का एक सिलसिला शुरू किया गया है, इससे ये कि हम अपनी एक नए जिद्दत से मार्केट में शामिल हों, ताकि हमारा इंटरेक्शन इंपोर्टर से भी रहे, कंसर्न हमारे कमर्शियल काउंसलर्स हैं उनसे भी रहे, और यहाँ जो एसोसिएशन के लोग हैं और जो इंडिविजुअल लोग हैं वो बेनिफिट हासिल करें उस कंसर्न मार्केट के बारे में। आज का जो टॉपिक है वो है कजाकिस्तान की मार्केट और पर्टिकुलर राइस के सिलसिले में। सेंट्रल एशिया इंक्लूसिव रशिया एक पाकिस्तानी राइस की, वाइट राइस की बहुत बड़ी मार्केट है, और पाकिस्तान की जो टोटल एक्सपोर्ट है वो मोर देन 2.7 बिलियन डॉलर की है और इंक्रीज हो रही है। रशिया और सेंट्रल एशिया इंक्लूसिव कजाकिस्तान एक अच्छी मार्केट है, और तकरीबन उसकी हमारी जो एक्सपोर्ट कजाकिस्तान में है वो 45.7 मिलियन डॉलर की थी लास्ट ईयर। और अभी जो हमारे कमर्शियल काउंसलर है उधर फारूक साहब, मुझे उम्मीद है कि इनके होते हुए हमारी मार्केट बहुत बेहतर रहेगी और हम वहाँ से अच्छा गेन हासिल करेंगे। अब हम शुरू करते हैं और
सर इनवाइट करेंगे। पहले कौन? फारूक साहब को इनवाइट करेंगे।
सर फारूक साहब आप प्रेजेंटेशन दीजिएगा मार्केट के बारे में, थोड़ा सा लोगों को पता चले कि कजाकिस्तान की मार्केट का क्या है।
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kazakhstan is a very important country of the Central Asia after the Russia. Its GDP is around the 60% of the total GDP of the entire area. Next slide. Next. On the screen you can see that area of the Kazakhstan is about 27 million kilometer squares, 2.7 million kilometer squares. It is about 10 times bigger than the Pakistan, and its population is 18.8 million. It means its population is less than the population of the Karachi. Its annual growth rate is 4.5%. Its GDP is 179.3 billion, and its inflation is 5.5%. In the first slides, I saw the map of the Kazakhstan, and in the map we can see that Kazakhstan is a landlocked country. Its neighbors are Russia, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. So, and there is a Caspian Sea approach of this Kazakhstan, but this Caspian Sea approach is very narrow. Big ships cannot reach at the Atrau and Atrau ports. That's why this is almost 95% landlocked country, and its trade is 95% trade is always being done through the land routes. Next. So no, back. So Kazakhstan. Now we will talk about the perspective of the rice. So I would like to highlight here that Kazakhstan not only import the rice, but Kazakhstan export the rice as well. So Kazakhstan is a rice exporting country as well as a rice importing country. So when we talk about that, when a country has already access and they already export the rice to the world, then what is the potential of the Kazakhstan to export the rice to the Kazakhstan, whereas its population is only 18.8 million. So the the reply of this question is that Kazakhstan is not is the central point in the Central Asia, from where the rice is exported all over the Central Asia. So this is basically trade hub of the Central Asia, due to which this is the trade hub of the Central Asia, due to which rice are being exported from there, and simultaneously rice are also imported in this area. So I can show you that in 2015, Kazakhstan exported 66,000 metric ton of the rice. In 2016, 65,000 metric ton. In 2017, 98,000 metric ton. 2018, 96,000 metric ton. And in 2019, 90,000 metric ton rice was exported from the Kazakhstan. I would like to point out here that I have mentioned the values in the kg quantity because there is a lot of discrepancies in the value of the value in US dollars because each and every source gives the different value. That's why it is not possible to assign or synchronize all the values. That's why I have mentioned it in the quantity terms. So in the similarly, when Kazakhstan exported the rice, they also imported the rice in the same years from the world. So in 2015, when they exported 66,000 metric ton of the rice from the in the world, they imported about 22,000 million tons of the rice. Similarly, in 2016, they imported 9,000 ton of the rice, 2007, 8, and 2018, 9, and in 2019, 22,000 metric ton of the rice they imported from the world. Next slide. Next. This is I have represented this in the pictorial form that in first line you see the exports and the second line in the import, and you can see that in 2015 their export was good, and then in 2016 uh, there is little bit almost 2016 the export is the same. In 2017 export increase, in 2018 export increase, and in 2019 export is little bit less than the 2018. But now this government of Kazakhstan is more focused on the export. That's why they also import the much. In last year in 2019 their export was 22 million thousand metric ton. So it means Kazakhstan government is more focused on the export, and for the export they also need imported rices. That's why this is market is gaining. Next. So basically, this is the export structure of rice 1006 of Kazakhstan in 2019. Basically, the 4HS code which usually Kazakhstan import from the exports to the world. So first, the main export of the Kazakhstan of the rice is 100630. Semi-milled or wholly milled rice, whether or not polished or thin. The 63% of the export is being done in this HS code, and then 28% is 100640 HS code, 100620 7.4%, and 100610 0.5%. It means the major export of the Kazakhstan, which amounts to 63%, is in the HS code of 100630. Now, what I told you earlier that Kazakhstan population of Kazakhstan is only 18.8 million. So they are already growing huge number of the rice in their own country, so they can meet the demand of their people. But this is not the method of meeting the demand of their own people, but they are meeting the demand of the countries, neighboring countries. So I have mentioned the 10 countries. So the major export of the rice of the Kazakhstan is Tajikistan 36%, and it's after come to the Uzbekistan, which is 13%, then Russia 19.8%, then Ukraine 7%, Turkmenistan 4.22%, and then Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Afghanistan, Belarus, and Azerbaijan. It means Kazakhstan is looking after the entire the country which they have shared the borders or the close proximity. They are exporting the rice to those countries, and that's why this is the reason they not only use their own crops for the export, but they are also import the crops from they also import the rices from the other countries, and then they export to the to these countries. I would like to mention one point here. In the COVID 2000, due to COVID situation, the demand of the rice increases manifold, but unfortunately, Pakistan could not get the benefit from this because Afghanistan border, China border, they were closed, and Pakistan could not supply these rices, and other countries get the benefit of this, uh, and Kazakhstan exported the rice, not only imported the rice not only to meet the demands of their own people, but the people of the other countries as well. Next, sir, this is the import structure of the rice of Kazakhstan. So similarly, eh, I already told you 100630 HS code, they export 63%, and you can see that in 100630 code they import 93%. It means the more they import for 100630, they will export the more. So there is the lot of potential because they are importing and then exporting this. So there is a demand. So this is the basic code in which there is a great potential of the export of the rice in the Kazakhstan, and after that they will export to the other countries. And after that is this 100610 3.9%, 100620 2%, and 100640 0.2%. Now I have shown the percentage of the destination from which they import the rice. So at the top is Russia 89%, and then comes the India 9.07%. Then Vietnam and Pakistan is at number 4 0.39%. So we can well imagine that how much is the potential available, because we can understand that if we talk about the Russia, it means Russia is the member of the Eurasian countries. They have close borders, they have the borders, they can transport the goods from Russia to the Kazakhstan without any custom duty because they are the member of the custom union. That's why they have the great advantage, great margin of the profit, and they are supplying the 89% of the export demand of the Kazakhstan. But the other countries which we can see that is in India. India does not share any border with the Kazakhstan. It means each and every shipment which is coming in the Kazakhstan is coming through the by air. So if by air they are sending and they are capturing 9.07% of the market, then I think Pakistan is in a better position. Pakistan can perform better. And it is very negligible that Pakistan is capturing 0.39%. So there is a great potential. There is a great potential. We can provide our rice is as good as the rice of the India and Vietnam, and we have the better access, and we can provide at the cheap rates. So I think if not, at least we must be at the number second position, not at the number fourth position, and our share must be in double figures, not in the 0.39%. Next. So what I told you, I showed you the export and import of Kazakhstan. So what I told you that they 63% they export the semi-milled, wholly milled rice, whether or not polished, and similarly they import this kind of the same semi-milled, wholly milled, whether or not polished rice, 93%. So I already told you this is the main area in which we can perform, and we can increase the share of our exports in this market. Next. So now what is the export procedure of documents for the export of the rice to the Kazakhstan? As I already told you that Kazakhstan is a member of Eurasian Economic Union. This is a custom union in which there is Russia, Armenia, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. So basically, all the rules which are set by the Eurasian Economic Union, they are followed, and you can enter from the any country, and then the movement of the goods is free of cost. You have to pay only the VAT. So what are the Kazakhstan is the member of Eurasian Economic Union. So what you need to declare the goods as per you declare the goods, and the custom code of the Eurasian Economic Union will be applied. So whenever you decide to export the rice to the Kazakhstan, then you have to consider that because you are going exporting in the Eurasian Economic Union, therefore you have to follow the custom code of the Eurasian Economic Union as well as Kazakhstan custom code. There is something which will be due to the international agreements, but this is the almost the same thing. There's nothing difference, no difference in this. The custom duties will be same, all other things will be same, and you will export the documents as per these custom laws and custom rules. Now I will come to the custom documentation. Whatever the custom documentation we require in other countries, the same custom documents are required for in these countries. Commercial invoice, definitely. Then there will be the packing list, then the waybill, then you need to the photosanitary certificate from the plant protection department. I would like to mention here that this is very important because nowadays, especially after the COVID, they have made very strict compliance of this. Compliance was definitely there already, but now they have become the more strict, and the phytosanitary certificate from the plant protection department is required. Then you need to attach the certificate of the origin, and then custom declaration for export from Kazakhstan. When someone export from the Kazakhstan, they also need to have a custom declaration certificate. Next. So I would like to highlight the what are the custom duties you are required to pay when to import in the export to the Kazakhstan. Then this is the 10% of the custom value. Whatever you will declare the value of the good, and you have to pay the 10% of the custom value of that good as a custom duty. So, but if it is not, but they have said the standard that it must not be less than 0.03 euro per kg. If the price you set it is less than the 0.03 euro per kg, the custom department will apply the rate according to 0.03 per kg, or whatever they find it suitable. In many cases, we have seen that the exporter has declared the value, but custom authorities has not accepted this value. So basically, what happens? The government of Kazakhstan, they annually declare a minimum value of the goods, and if even you declare the custom value less than this, they either apply that value which have been set by them, or what they do, they apply 0.03 per kg, whatever they find is suitable. So this is the custom value which the exporter has required to pay while exporting in the Kazakhstan. And there is a value added tax, we call it VAT. It is 12%. It means you have to pay the custom duty plus VAT, which is the 12% of your product. And then custom declaration documents, you have to require 20,000 tenge. It becomes around 8 9,000 Pakistani rupees. And you have to hire a one custom clearing agent, which clears all your goods and etc. And custom declaration from for export from Pakistan. Next. Hmm. I already told you that Kazakhstan is a landlocked country, and Pakistan has the advantage that Pakistan can have the access to the Kazakhstan through various trade corridors. So the basic and the one most important trade corridor is the Afghan corridor, which usually we use. Then there is a Chinese corridor, and there is a Iran corridor, and then we send it by sea through Chinese Sea. So basically, the trade which is being carried out around 90%, 85 to 90% is being done Afghan corridor. And there are three ways, three routes of the Afghan corridor. One route is from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan. So Peshawar, Turkham, Kabul, Tirmir, Shimkent, and then Almaty. So this is the first route, in which there are three countries: Pakistan, Afghanistan, four countries. Pakistan, Afghanistan means goods will come from the Pakistan. It will pass through the Afghanistan, then Uzbekistan, and then it reach to the Kazakhstan after crossing Shimkin and then Almaty. So this is the quite a long route. And then the other route is Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. This is Turkham, Kabul, Bandar Sher Khan, Dushanbe, Bishkek, Almaty, and then Almaty. So this is also a route which usually used by the exporters. And then the third route is which is this these all routes are at the Kabul, and this is the Chaman side. This is the Chaman, Turgandi, Bukhara, Shimkan, and Almaty. So these are the three routes which we usually use to export our products from Pakistan to Kazakhstan. So all these three routes are operational. Exporter use, transporter use as per the convenience the route. So almost the transportation rate of all the routes are the same. So if these three routes are available and we can access the Kazakhstan through these routes. But what happens basically, a transporter, there is a monopoly of the transporters in these routes, because there is a psychological that there is a law and order problem at the Kazakhstan. Therefore they charge the high cost, because costs are not fixed. Sometimes it is becomes less, sometimes becomes high, depending upon the situation of the Afghanistan. That's why people or transporter or even businessman is not well sure about what will be the cost of the transportation from Pakistan to the Almaty. Sometime depends, sometime it becomes less, sometime it becomes high. It all depends on the condition of the Afghanistan. And even sometime what happens, your border remain closed, and due to any situation, and the containers are standing over there, daily charges are incurring on it, and that's why the cost of transportation gets increased day by day. And in the end, when the product reaches at the Kazakhstan, the cost becomes so high, so it is not become viable to compete the rise of the other countries in the market. So lack of the awareness, there is no TIR coordinate implication on these trucks. Basically what happens, there is also one problem over there. The problem is that when there is a Pakistani container or Pakistani truck are not allowed to move from Afghanistan and onward. It means if you loaded a good in the Pakistani container, Pakistani container will reach in the Afghanistan. It is again unloaded in from the Pakistani container, and then it is again loaded in the Afghanistan container. So what happens? The cost of loading and unloading also increases the cost of the transportation, and even goods are damaged in the process of loading and unloading. So that's why we say that there should be TIR container. But in Afghanistan, there is not awareness of the TIR container. TIR container are a little bit expensive. Their requirements are a little bit high. That's why we use the non-TIR containers. But due to this, also loading, unloading, and this is hassle as well, and this is the problem as well. So this route is basically a problematic route. Not people always remain concerned on this route whether their products will reach over there or not. If it will reach, it will reach in the time or not, because it is also has been experienced that due to situation, the containers are blocked at some points, and they stand over there for the days, and you cannot meet your order on time. So we have the access of the Afghanistan corridor. This is a blessing, but there are problems, and I think government is also trying to solve all these problems, so that we must ensure that if our container starts from the Peshawar, it must reach within 10 to 15 days to the Almaty, Kazakhstan. The other corridor, which is the most important corridor, it is the Chinese corridor. Basically we call it as a CPEC corridor as well. So basically in about 10 to 15 years back, Pakistan signed an agreement. It is called QTTA, Quadrilateral Transit and Trade Agreement, in which there are the four countries: Pakistan, China, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan. So this is the most effective corridor in which your container, your truck can go direct to the Almaty, and any container from Almaty can reach to the Karachi port. There is no need, there is no need to unloading, reloading, etc., etc. This is the shortest route. Road conditions are better, but unfortunately, due to the weather, from November, December, this route remains closed and till the March. But from March to November or December, this route remains operational. But last year, unfortunately, what happened due to the COVID, this route remained closed and did not open even in the March. So, though government of Pakistan talked to the Chinese government, but the COVID situation was so severe that this route is still not fully operational. Only few vehicles about the CPEC and something they are coming and going, but not for the commercial activity has been resorted. So basically, if this route becomes the fully operational, I believe that this will be a very great advantage, and we have a great access to the Central Asia. We can go from Islamabad and any city from Pakistan to Almaty directly without any hassle, without any problem, and it will take 10 to 15 days, but cost of the transportation will be very less. The other thing of this route is the good point is that when not only the cost will be less, but the truck which will go to the from Pakistan to the Almaty, it will come back. It will again bring something from the a Central Asian state into Pakistan. So this is the two-way traffic. It means when it will come back, it will again bring the things into Pakistan. So the cost of the transportation will be less because you have to pay only one side. The other side they will cover from the other cargo. But in Afghanistan corridor, if it goes from the one side, it means you are paying the cost of the both sides. So this is the very base. This is very corridor, and if this corridor, our agreement, quadrilateral transit and trade agreement become the operational, this will be definitely boost our trade not only Kazakhstan but in the entire Central Asia. Now there is another Iran corridor, which is from Karachi to we go to the Bandar Abbas. Then Bandar Abbas, the cargo is unloaded. It is go on the trucks in the Turkmenistan, then Uzbekistan, and then Almaty, Kazakhstan. So this corridor is also being used, but not frequently. But in extreme situation, and even those traders or businessmen who has some cargo for the Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, they use this corridor as well. And in the last, we use the from Karachi port to the southern sea of the China, and from China it comes to the by road to the Kazakhstan. But that is very lengthy, and it is take about 45 to 60 days. Though price is not too high, but the traveling time is too much, 45 to 60 days. That's why only those products in which there is no need of the hurry and they are pre-planned, they use that corridor. Next, next, next line. So, no, come back, come back. Yes. So now I will talk about the issues. So I already told you that there are the corridors available, but these corridors are not as much effective as which we would like to. So it is need to make them the effective, and there must be a trader or transporter or any company must be sure that they will meet what kind of the problems and what is their solution, and how much time it will take, how much money it will take, so that there should be a peace of mind in the mind of the people, so that they may get encouraged to export their products into the Kazakhstan, including the rice. The other thing is that standardization of the transportation of rates. Unfortunately, there isn't any transportation company which give the standardized rate. Each and every company is following its own rates. Some are charging very high rates, some are charging very low rates. If they are charging very low rates, they don't give the guarantee that their products will reach to the Almaty, Kazakhstan, and if anything happened, so they will cooperate with them. And if any company give the authority that they take the guarantee that the products will reach to the Almaty, and they will pay them the remuneration if they lost the product due to any reason, so they charge very high rates. So what happens when they charge very high rates? So there is no this standardization. So when our businessmen give a rate to a businessman in the Almaty, Kazakhstan, about the export price, they are unable to quote the exact rate of the transportation. So sometimes transportation becomes so high, especially in the after the COVID-19, the situation developed and transportation costs become so high, that the when we applied the transportation cost on our price of our goods, it becomes so high that our product did not remain the competitive in the Kazakhstan market. The other thing is that there is no LC culture. Basically, there is a huge fluctuation between the dollars and Kazakh tenge. Uh, Especially in this COVID-19, this is not the LC culture. They do not open the LCs. What they want that the product must come over there. They see the product and they buy from it, and then. So basically, there isn't any warehousing facility. There isn't anything so that any exporter export the product in this country and then sell it. LC culture is not there, so people do not book the orders, because when you do not open the LC, then what is the problem? You are not sure about that you will get your money back. So there are so many incidents that in which the exporter provided the material product to the businessman in the Kazakhstan, but they did not get back their money back. So basically, what is happening this in the our competitor like China, Turkey, Russia, and other countries, what they do, they open their offices in the Kazakhstan. So they send the goods to the those companies, and those companies sell there, and then they send the money. I must tell you, in 2018, about 80 Indian companies opened their offices in the Kazakhstan, but unfortunately we didn't. So it is also a problem, because when you do not have the presence over there and you send the product on the to someone which you don't know, so it is always 50-50% chance whether you will get it in the back, you get your money or not. And there is a banking issue, though there is a bank of National Bank of Pakistan is over there, but I have learned that it is about to close its branch in March or April 2021. It means there will be no direct channel or banking channel between the Kazakhstan and Pakistan in 2021, and people are already reluctant to send their money through banking channels. And if there will not be the bank, National Bank branch also closed, so it will be a great blow for the trade. But this is the decision of the bank authorities. We can't do anything in this. The other thing is that the visa issue. Basically, till 2003, there was a regular flight of PIA to the two flights of the PIA in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and their people are used to come. They used to get the visa, but unfortunately, due to some government policies and etc., the visa regime has become so strict that people were unable to get the visa. And when they did not get the visa, the flight operation stopped. Now we have to go either through we don't get the visa. For visa, their problem process is very cumbersome. On the other hand, our competitors like India, like China, like Russia, like Turkey, their businessmen can come visit. Their visit visa is so easy that they can get visa on the arrival. But for our businessman, it is a very huge task, because he has to get the invitation letter, etc., etc. So visa issue is a great issue, and our embassy of Pakistan is also trying to resolve this issue. But till that time, the visa issue remains, and we get the visa not so easily. So, and last point is the malpractices, because this is the Central Asian states. Even the in the president of the Kazakhstan once said that the main problem in this system is the corruption. So what happens when the any goods arrives at the custom? So custom people also demand something, and our people sometimes pay, sometimes not. Sometimes the environment becomes the favorable, sometimes not. So that's why people are also reluctant, because they don't know that even if they complete all these procedures and then reach there, then what will happen, whether their goods will be cleared or not. If cleared, then if other thing will not happen. So this is also one problem due to which our exporters are quite reluctant to export in this market. Next. These are the sorry, back. These are some 12 companies which usually are involved in the import and export business of the rice of the Kazakhstan. I have mentioned the names. If anyone wants the further details, I can provide them. Next. Next. Thank you, gentlemen. This was all from my side. And if there is any question answer, I am available for the to give the reply.
Before going for question answer session, I would like to request Mr. Faisal Jahangir to present his views on this. Please, Mr. Faisal Jahangir, Senior Vice President, Green.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Faisal Jahangir Malik and I am the Senior Vice Chairman for Rice Export Association of Pakistan. I would like to thank Mr. Muhammad Farooq, who has given us a very detailed presentation in regards to the commercial aspects of the rice export from Pakistan to Kazakhstan. So I would cover now the few technical aspects of the Pakistani rice industry. The Pakistani rice is by default is much better in quality as compared to our competitors, which is mainly India, or in terms of the iri short grain rice is Thailand. So the Pakistani farming methods, I would start from the basics. Basically, Pakistan is still following the conventional farming practices, which makes our rice better in terms of its characteristics. Because in India, the pesticide residue levels are so high that that Indian rice is not as good for human consumption as compared to the Pakistani rice. In Pakistan, till date, the basmati which we are growing is still standing at 55 months per hectare. Whereas compared to India, because of their high use of pesticide levels, they get 170 months of rice in 1 acre. So there's a big difference. I will make the comparison that in terms of the chicken. Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I will give you a short example for the rice difference of Pakistan and India. Is basically I would compare it to chicken. So broiler chicken is ready in 45 days, whereas as compared to organic chicken, it takes around 6 to 8 months. And the difference is quite obvious that organic chicken is way better for health as compared to broiler chicken. Similarly, Pakistani rice is much more healthier for human consumption as compared to Indian rice. Where we lack is basically in marketing. The Indian rice is better in marketing. It's better in its approach. They have more funds available to market their rice worldwide. Whereas these Indian exporters, what they do is in the international markets. Just because they also know that the Pakistani rice is better in quality, they use the Pakistani tag in their brands to sell their rice, whereas the rice is not Pakistani. So similarly is the case with Kazakhstan. We are the export of rice from Pakistan can be achieved 100%. Pakistan has the potential to cover the complete Kazakhstan market. But for this, we need better viability to do business. Ease of doing business has to be done. As Mr. Farouk has already said, that there is visa issue going on, and then there is again we have some currency issues. Once these are resolved, I can guarantee that Pakistani rice is definitely much better than the Indian rice. There's one more thing which I would like to add is the import for re-export purpose from Kazakhstan. Now, Russia is trying to import rice from Pakistan. Last year, they had a delegation from an official delegation from Russia to Pakistan, where they visited almost 8 main exporters from Sindh and Punjab regions of Pakistan. And they were very happy and satisfied to start importing rice from Pakistan. But unfortunately, we had Corona come in the start of 2020, due to which we could not proceed further. But now the same delegation is coming next year. So we expect that they will start importing rice from Pakistan as well. One last thing which I would like to add is the European food compliance. Now, the European food compliance is a food compliance which is very strict. It has lots of restrictions. It has lots of levels which need to be met. Now, the European food standards are the one which are the best for humans, for human consumption, basically. And similarly, as per the World Trade Organization, they very soon, today or tomorrow, the members of the WTO countries will start to abide to the European food compliances. Just for example, Saudi, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, all these major Gulf importers, they are already looking to abide to the European food standards. Iran, being the largest importer of rice, is now very near to the standards followed by the European Union. Now, the Indian rice is not viable. It is not suitable to abide to the European standards. So Pakistani rice wins over there. Just as you all know that in 2017, the Indian rice import was banned in EU just because they had very high pesticide residues level. Whereas in Pakistan, by nature, by default, we are very lucky that we are not using those amounts of pesticides to have a better yield. We are still following the conventional farming practices, which makes our rice much more healthier. So in future as well, Pakistan rice will definitely be better in quality, better in taste, better in characteristics. So definitely it will be given priority, but all we are lacking is marketing, which already the government of Pakistan is helping us out. And inshallah, definitely within no time, we will have a better mark for the Pakistani rice. Yes.
Now, request Mr. Bakhtiar to give us closing remarks.
In an end, I would like to add few words. Valuable information was shared by the Commercial Councillor Mohammad Farooq Mehman, Mr. Faisal Jahangir, Senior Vice Chairman REAP, which has educated us how to do a business successfully in Kazakhstan. Hopefully, this session will bring a tangible result for the rice sector of both countries. With mutual efforts, we can increase our share in Kazakh market up to 1 billion. Thanks all the participants to be a part of this session. Any question?
Assalamu alaikum. There is a question.
Please, if you have any question, please.
With my understanding, which I got from the presentation, is that Kazakhstan is like a big water tank. If we feed rice into it, it will distribute all the rice to the rest of the Central Asian countries. Is that?
Yes, Kazakhstan is basically a gateway to the entire Central Asia. Basically, I already mentioned in my presentation that the population of Kazakhstan is 18.8 million, and whatever they are producing, this is enough for them to meet the requirement of their own people. But this is not matter of meeting the requirement of their own people. What they do, they are importing the rice, and what Mr. Faisal says is very true. Okay, our rice is best in quality, so they are liked, and they are meeting the demands of the other countries from the our rice as well. So there is a great demand of from other countries. They bring the import the rice from the Pakistan and other countries as well, and they made some value addition like making the brand, packing, etc., etc., and they export to the other countries. So this is a you can say that this is the trading hub. You can export in the Kazakhstan, and from there they export to the other countries of the Central Asia, which at least 10 countries are already mentioned. Thank you.
Any other else question, please?
सर मेरा नाम आसिम तौकीर है। मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाह रहा था। अभी आपने बताया कि यहाँ से पाकिस्तान से वहाँ जाने के लिए 3 रास्ते हैं। एक पाकिस्तान से अफगानिस्तान से गुजर के जाता है, एक आपने बताया कि चाइना कॉरिडोर है, और एक आपने बताया अपना ईरान थ्रू। तो इन तीनों में ये बताइए कि कास्ट क्या आ रही है और कितने दिन का वक्फा पड़ रहा है। यानी अगर हम ये चाइना कॉरिडोर इस्तेमाल करते हैं तो कितने दिनों में हमारा माल वहाँ पहुंच जाएगा और कास्ट क्या आएगी, और वही दूसरा भी जो यहाँ से ईरान से आगे, ये थोड़ा सा बताइएगा कि मैक्सिमम कौन सा मुनासिब है। और इसमें
सर इसमें जो कॉस्ट आती है बेसिकली तो डिपेंड करता है कि जी जो है ना वहाँ पे आपकी जो है ना ट्रैफिक का फ्लो कितना है। मैं ये बात कर रहा हूँ अफगानिस्तान के पर्सपेक्टिव में। पिछले दिनों ये हुआ कि जब जो है ना कोविड की वजह से हमने बॉर्डर क्लोज कर दिया और जब ओपन किया तो अफगानिस्तान ट्रांजिट ट्रेड के इतने ट्रक थे, थाउजेंड्स में थे, कि जो है ना आपका एक एक ट्रक सिर्फ और सिर्फ अफगानिस्तान बॉर्डर पे 20-20, 25-25 दिन तक जो है ना खड़ा रहा। तो कॉस्ट ऑटोमेटिकली जो है ना मैनी फोल्ड इंक्रीज हो गई। और जब जो है ना वो वहाँ पे डेस्टिनेशन पे पहुंची तो वो जब हम उसको ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की कॉस्ट मिलाई तो वो हमारी प्रोडक्ट की कॉस्ट इतनी हाई हो गई कि वो मार्केट में कॉम्पिटिटिव ही नहीं रही। लेकिन अगर हम नॉर्मल डेज की बात करें तो नॉर्मल डेज में हमें जो सबसे बेस्ट रूट पड़ता है वो पड़ता है चाइना वाला। क्योंकि अगर जो है ना चेकिंग और अदर प्रोसीजर को निकाल दें तो वो सामान भी 10 से 15 दिन में पहुंच जाता है। लेकिन वो रास्ता बहुत अच्छा है, बीच में जो है ना कोई आपको कोई जो है ना वॉर लॉर्ड्स के जो है ना जो अननेसेसरी खर्चे हैं वो नहीं देने पड़ते, जो लीगल ड्यूटीज हैं वो देनी पड़ती हैं। तो आप ये समझ जाएं कि जी आप तकरीबन आपकी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट तकरीबन 1 मिलियन पाकिस्तानी रुपीस के बराबर हो जाएगी चाइनीज कॉरिडोर में। लेकिन अगर आप यही चीज जो है ना वो अफगानिस्तान के थ्रू जाएंगे तो आप जो है ना ये गारंटी ही नहीं कर सकते कि जी चीज मेरी 15 दिन में पहुंचेगी या 25 दिन में पहुंचेगी या 45 दिन में पहुंचेगी। जितने दिन ज्यादा लगेंगे उतनी कॉस्ट ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ती चली जाती है। और उसके बाद ये होता है कि जब आप अब मसला ये है कि जी हमारे कुछ रिलेशन ऐसे हैं कि जी हमारा अपना ट्रक तो जा नहीं सकता, और हम क्या करते हैं कि जी अपनी गुड्स को दिखाते हैं काजाकिस्तान वाली, ताकि जी जो है ना ये जो वॉर लॉर्ड्स हैं वहां से भी आसानी से निकल जाए। तो हर जगह पे आपको जो पैसे देने पड़ते हैं तो वो कॉस्ट इंक्रीज हो जाती है। अगर देखा जाए तो लीगल कॉस्ट तो दोनों की तकरीबन 1 मिलियन पाक रुपीस के बराबर होगी या थोड़ी आगे पीछे होगी। लेकिन जब हम अफगानिस्तान कॉरिडोर देंगे तो जो हिडन कॉस्ट हैं वो डिपेंड करती हैं, कभी बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाती हैं, कभी कम हो जाती हैं। तो ये जी जो है ना वो है। और उसके बाद फिर जब आप उसको जी जो है ना लोडिंग में करें, अनलोडिंग में करें, फिर आपको अफगानिस्तान का ट्रक मिले, आपको अफगानिस्तान का ट्रक न मिले, कभी हायर क्रॉस पे मिले। तो मेरा ख्याल है कि जी चाइनीज कॉरिडोर जो है ना दी मोस्ट इकोनॉमिकल कॉरिडोर है। उसके बाद जो है ना आपका अफगानिस्तान का कॉरिडोर है। दो के प्राइस आप उसकी फिक्स नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन जो है ना फिर भी जो है ना एक अंदाजा होता है कि जी मैं अगर 10 लाख में नहीं पहुंचा तो 12 से 15 लाख में मैं चीज लेके पहुंच ही जाऊंगा। उसके बाद हम आते हैं उसके ईरान वाले कॉरिडोर पे। तो ईरान वाले कॉरिडोर पे भी ये होता है कि जी पहले हम जो है ना कराची से शिफ्ट करें, कराची से चीज शिफ्ट होके फिर जो है ना वो आएगी बंदर अब्बास पे, फिर बंदर अब्बास पे जी जो है ना वो वहाँ पे क्लियर होगी, फिर वो कंटेनरों में जाएगी, फिर तुर्क में वो वहाँ से ट्रेवल करके एक शहर है उनका, मेरे जहन से नाम निकल गया, वहाँ से तुर्कमेनिस्तान तक जाएगी, फिर तुर्कमेनिस्तान से फिर आगे जाएगी। तो ये भी जो है ना तकरीबन 15 लाख के 12 से 15 लाख का जी जो है ना आपका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की कॉस्ट है। लेकिन इसमें हैसल बड़ी है। اور یہ ہوتا ہے کہ آپ کی لوڈنگ ان لوڈنگ میں جہاں پہ بھی لوڈنگ اینڈ ان لوڈنگ کا چکر شروع ہو نا تو آپ کی گڈس کے ڈیمیج ہونے کا بڑا خطرہ ہے. تو جی میرے حساب سے اگر جو ہے نا دیکھا جائے تو چائنیز کوریڈور از دی فرسٹ, دین افغانستان کوریڈور, اینڈ دین تھرڈ از دی ایران کوریڈور. اور اگر کسی کے پاس دن ہے 45-60 دن ہے تو پھر بائی سی بھیج دے, چائنیز کے تھرو آ جائے گا, چائنیز سی کے تھرو آ جائے گی جی, اور وہ پھر جو ہے نا افغانستان آ جائے گا. وہ کاسٹ کم ہوتی ہے لیکن ٹائم پیریڈ 45 سے 60 دن ہو جاتے ہیں.
سر بڑا اچھا آپ نے جواب دیا. جیسے ایک چھوٹی سی بات ہے کہ آپ نے ذکر کیا کہ چائنی جو ایکویڈور یہ مارچ سے اوپن ہوتا ہے, مارچ سے نومبر تک, پورا سال یہ اوپن نہیں ہوتا.
ہاں پورے سال نہیں ہوتا, بیسیکلی جب برف باری ہوتی ہے تو وہ بند ہو جاتا ہے. لیکن ابھی پچھلے دنوں جو ہے نا گورنمنٹ آف پاکستان کی اور گورنمنٹ آف چائنا کی ڈسکشنیں ہوئی ہیں, وہ یہ کوشش کر رہے ہیں کہ جی اس کو ایسا سسٹم ڈیولپ کیا جائے کہ جی یہ راؤنڈ دی ایئر جو ہے نا کھلا رہے. لیکن انفارچونیٹلی اس میٹنگ کے بعد ہوا یہ کہ کووڈ آ گیا, کووڈ کی وجہ سے ویسے ہی ریسٹرکشن آ گئی, ریسٹرکشن کی وجہ سے جو ہے نا وہ ساری جو پلان تھا وہ نہیں ہوا. اور ایک اور چیز ہے, جب ہم بات کرتے ہیں سی پیک کی, جب سی پیک آپریشنل ہو جائے گا نا تو کیو ٹی ٹی اے والا روٹ آٹومیٹکلی آپریشنل ہوگا. یہ ہو نہیں سکتا کہ جی جو ہے نا سی پیک میں جو ہے نا یہ مین روٹ ہے یہ آپریشنل ہو جائے گا اور ان کو ایسے میئرس لینے پڑیں گے کہ جی یہ راؤنڈ دی ایئر جو ہے نا وہ آپریشنل ہے.
تھینک یو ویری مچ سر.
Sir, if there is no question, then we can close the webinar. अगर कोई question है तो please, if you have any question.
Yeah, please, if I may be allowed one more.
You are welcome.
Sir, in your presentation, if you have mentioned that rice as a product, your whole presentation was on the export of rice. What are the organic demands of Kazakhstan? And can you highlight the air corridor which India is using, and what can Pakistan do for transportation through air corridor using airplanes from Kazakhstan Airlines? Thank you.
سر اس میں میں پہلے تو آپ جو آرگینک کی جو ڈیمانڈ کی بات کر رہے ہیں تو ایز سچ جو ہے نا میں آپ کو بڑا اوپنلی کہہ دوں کہ جی یہاں پہ کوئی اتنی آرگینک اور ان آرگینک کا کنسیپٹ نہیں ہے ایز فار ایز جو ہے نا رائس از کنفرم جو ہے نا. تو یہ ہے کہ جی اگر ہم جو ہے نا آرگینک کر کے جو ہے نا اس کی تھوڑی, کیونکہ جو آرگینک چیزیں ہوتی ہیں ان کی پرائس بھی لٹل بٹ ہائی ہوتی ہے, تو یہاں پہ جو رائس کی جو ہے نا جو کم سے کم جو ہے نا ڈیمانڈ ہے اس میں ایٹ لیسٹ جو ہے نا ابھی یہاں تک اتنی اویئرنیس نہیں آئی کہ جی لوگ جو ہے نا آ کے ڈیمانڈ کریں کہ جی مجھے آرگینک رائس چاہیے. دوسرا میں نے آپ کو بتایا,
sorry sir, I am cutting you off. By organic demand I meant that the consumption which is required by Kazakhstan, because rice, they have a lot of rice, what they don't have and what we can export.
سر دیکھیں ان کے پاس جو رائس ہے نا یہ ایٹ لیسٹ جو ان کی اپنی ہے وہ جو چھوٹا اور تھوڑا موٹا والا ہے, آپ زیادہ بہتر سمجھتے ہیں کیونکہ میں ٹیکنیکل ٹرم میں نہیں آتا, تو وہ جو پلاؤ میں یوز کرتے ہیں وہ رائس جو ہے نا وہ یوز ہوتا ہے اور یہی ان کی پروڈکشن ہے اور یہی جو ہے نا ان کی جو ہے نا مینلی پاپولیشن کی کنزپشن ہے. لیکن جو ہمارا رائس ہے جس میں جی جو ہے نا جو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ جی جو سب سے زیادہ ڈیمانڈ ہے نا وہ جو ہمارا لانگ گرین وائٹ سیلا رائس ہے اس کی بہت زیادہ ڈیمانڈ ہے, کیونکہ یہاں پہ جتنے بھی جو ہے نا فارینر ہیں یا جی جو ہے نا جو دوسرے آتے ہیں, ابھی تو کووڈ کی وجہ سے تھوڑا پرابلم ہے, ادروائز جو ہے نا جو انٹرنیشنل کمیونٹی, ڈپلومیٹس, ٹورسٹ اینڈ ایٹسٹرا دے آلویز لائک ٹو گیٹ دی وائٹ سیلا رائس جو ہمارا ہوتا ہے, اور انڈیا کا بھی تقریباً سیم ہی ہے, میں نے چیک کیا ہے کہ جی جو ہے نا وہی ہے. تو ہماری جو ہے نا ان رائس کی جو ہے نا وہ زیادہ ہے, اور جو ان بروکن ہوتا ہے جو لمبا ہوتا ہے وائٹ سیلا رائس ہے جو ہے نا اس کی ڈیمانڈ زیادہ ہے, اور وہی جو ہے نا زیادہ تر جو ہے نا یہ میں نے مارکیٹ میں پاکستان کا رائس دیکھا ہے. باقی جو آپ یہ جو کہہ رہے ہیں کہ جی انڈیا کون سا کوریڈور کرتا ہے, تو جی انڈیا کا تو بیسیکلی تو وہ بائی ایئر آتا ہے. انڈیا کی تو 2 یا 3 فلائٹس ہیں جو ہر ہفتے جو ہے نا الماتے یا نور سلطان جو ہے نا آتی ہیں. یہ تو ابھی کووڈ کی وجہ سے تھوڑا سلو ہو گیا ہے, نہیں تو انڈیا ایئر کوریڈور یوز کرتا ہے, اور انڈین گورنمنٹ نے ان کو وہاں پہ سبسڈی دی ہوئی ہے ایئر کارگو پہ, کیونکہ اگر وہ سبسڈی نہ دیں تو ان کا جی جو ہے نا یہ پاسبل ہی نہ ہو کہ جی جو ہے نا وہ اس کو یہاں پہ کریں. اور مجھے جہاں تک کچھ لوگوں نے انفارمیشن دی ہے وہ یہ بھی دی ہے کہ جی یہاں پہ کچھ کمپنیاں ایسی ہیں کہ انہوں نے کیا کیا ہے انڈین کمپنیز نے کہ ہمارا یہاں پہ ایریا ہے, انہوں نے یہاں پہ جو ہے پیکنگ کی جو ہے نا وہ رکھی ہوئی ہے. تو وہ کیا کرتے ہیں کہ جی جو پاکستانی رائس آتا ہے نا سملر ٹو دی جو ہے نا وہ ہمارا رائس ایون بہتر ہے جی جو ہے نا اس سے خراب تو نہیں ہے, تو وہ کیا کرتا ہے کہ ہمارا رائس لے کے اپنے نام سے پیک کر کے بھی بیچتے ہیں. تو یہ چیز بھی جو ہے نا وہ ہے, لیکن بیسیکلی انڈیا جو یوز کرتا ہے وہ ایئر کوریڈور یوز کرتا ہے جو ہے نا, جو ان کی جو ہے نا پروڈکٹس آتی ہے, پھر اس میں چاہے رائس ہو چاہے ٹی ہو یا کچھ بھی ہو. ایک اور چیز جو آپ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ جی پاکستان ایئر کوریڈور کیوں نہیں یوز کر سکتا, بیسیکلی ہمیں پرابلم یہ ہے کہ جی جب ہم ایئر کوریڈور یوز کرتے ہیں تو ہماری پروڈکٹ نے یا پہلے دبئی جانا ہوتا ہے یا جو ہے نا ٹرکی جانا ہوتا ہے, پھر گھوم کے آنا ہوتا ہے. تو اس کی وجہ سے یہ ہوتا ہے کہ جی ہماری کاسٹ اتنی بڑھ جاتی ہے کہ ہم انفارچونیٹلی جو ہے نا پھر مارکیٹ میں کمپیٹیٹو نہیں رہتے, کیونکہ پرائس جو ہے نا وہ جو, اور خاص طور پہ کووڈ کے دنوں میں تو اتنی کاسٹ زیادہ ہو گئی ہے کہ جی ہمارے لیے ایئر کوریڈور کیونکہ ڈائریکٹ فلائٹ نہیں ہے تو وہ کمپیٹیٹو ہی نہیں ہے. پچھلے دنوں جو ہے نا تقریباً 1 مہینہ پہلے ہمارے جو ایمبیسڈر صاحب تھے انہوں نے الماتے انٹرنیشنل ایئرپورٹ کے پریزیڈنٹ صاحب سے ملاقات کی تھی, اور ہم نے ان کو یہی کہا تھا کہ جی ہم چاہتے ہیں کہ جی ایٹ لیسٹ جو ہے نا ایک فلائٹ جو ہے نا پاکستان اور افغانستان کی ویکلی شروع ہو جس میں لوگ بھی جائیں اور ہمارا کارگو بھی آئے. اگر وہ شروع ہو جاتی ہے تو پھر جو ہے نا یہ تقریباً اسلام آباد سے یا لاہور سے یہ 2.5 گھنٹے کی فلائٹ ہوگی, آپ کی کاسٹ بھی کم ہوگی اور آپ جو ہے نا چیزیں جی جو ہے نا ان نو ٹائم میں بھیج سکتے ہیں. ادروائز جو ہے نا وہ جب آپ کوئی ٹرکش ایئر لائن لیں گے یا فلائی دبئی لیں گے یا اتحاد لیں گے یا دوسری لیں گے تو وہ ایٹ لیسٹ جو ہے نا ان کی کاسٹ اتنی بڑھ جاتی ہے کہ جی جو ہے نا وہ ہماری پروڈکٹ جو ہے نا پرائس کمپیٹیٹو نہیں رہتی.
Thank you, Ji. Now we are closing the webinar. Thank you so much, all the participants, speakers, and our commercial